96.1 Kantipur FM.
तपाईं अहिले सुन्दै हुनुहुन्छ कार्यक्रम आजका नारी.
This program is brought to you by
प्रीति मिल प्याक तयारी चाउचाउ मात्र रु 15 मा.
Inspiring women.
कमर्शियल ब्रेकपछि पुनः स्वागत छ कार्यक्रम प्रीति आजका नारीमा. प्रीति तयारी चाउचाउद्वारा प्रायोजित यो कार्यक्रम तपाईँ सुन्दै हुनुहुन्छ रेडियो कान्तिपुर, रेडियो राष्ट्रकोमा. साथमा छु म रश्मिला र आजको कार्यक्रममा अब भने बेला भएको छ प्रेरक महिलासँग कुराकानी गर्ने. र आज प्रेरक महिलामा हामीले निम्ति आएका छौं 3 दशकदेखि अमेरिकामा सेल्फ डिफेन्स इन्स्ट्रक्टरको रूपमा कार्यरत, वान अफ द पायोनियर इन वुमेन सेल्फ डिफेन्स ट्रेनिङ, मेलिसा सल्ट. मेलिसा सल्टको बारेमा कुरा गर्नुपर्दाखेरि अमेरिकामा नै उहाँ चाहिँ महिला आत्मसुरक्षामा चाहिँ उहाँ वान अफ द इनिसिएटरको रूपमा लिइन्छ. एकदमै सुरुवाती फेज थियो जस बेला चाहिँ उहाँले सेल्फ डिफेन्सको काम थाल्नुभयो र हाल आएर चाहिँ उहाँ एकदमै रिनाउन्ड सेल्फ डिफेन्स इन्स्ट्रक्टरको रूपमा रहनुहुन्छ र उहाँसँगकै कुराकानी अब हामी यहाँहरु समक्ष राख्दैछौँ. मेलिसा, वेलकम टु नेपाल and welcome to this show.
Thank you so much. I'm really thrilled to be here.
Is it your first time here in Nepal?
No, I was in Nepal in 1975, many years ago, when it was very different than it is now. Yeah, so this is my second visit here.
Okay. So actually, why you were here? To teach some self-defense or just in personal visit?
I'm here, first of all, I absolutely love India and Nepal. I mean, I have had some experiences here myself, traveling when I was 18, 19, and some attacks, and I learned I could fight. This was new information for me. And I absolutely love this part of the world, and I have a great passion for the women. And I'm here because I've been working with some women's organizations and passing on some of my skills and strengths in self-defense, and I would really like to move here. So I'm also here to sort of see how things work here and what I can contribute.
Melissa, what actually the self-defense is, as it is very new terminology in Nepal here. So how you define self-defense?
Yeah, even in the States, a lot of people think, if I say, I teach self-defense, and they think kicking and punching, and that's all they think. And that's only one small piece of self-defense. In the biggest picture, I would say that self-defense is, for women, everything that we do to protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe, and that enhances our well-being. So self-defense means things like awareness, heightened awareness with people that we know and, out in public, and being aware of what's happening in our relationships, and if it feels like maybe something's wrong or something's abusive. It means being able to set boundaries and set limits with people that we know and people that we don't know, to stop people from harming us to begin with. And that means using our voice, it means using our body language, it means trusting our instincts. And so it includes all of these pieces, and it also includes being able to escape a dangerous situation, knowing how to break away if somebody is touching you or grabbing you, and also includes from there, what do you do if somebody attacks you? And a lot of my focus is also on rape defense. So I'm teaching physical techniques from stand-up positions, like, on a street or in a parking garage, and also in lying down positions, how to effectively fight back to escape. The goal is always to escape. That's an important thing. So I don't teach anything complicated. It's not the same as martial arts. Self-defense, I teach practical self-defense. So the techniques that we teach are good for women's bodies. They exploit the power of the hips and the legs, because that's where our greatest strength lies. And also it reflects the most common ways that women are assaulted, which means very close in. I address predator-prey tactics and how it is that women are attacked. And so everything that we teach is very practical. We call them gross motor skills. So they're palm strikes and elbows and knees and to the ears and to the face. And they're easy moves, because in a real situation there's a lot of adrenaline and tremendous fear, of course. And so we help women so that they don't freeze and they don't just panic. So I deal a lot of my approach in the States. I'm known for being very fierce. I think that's fair to say. I have a very fierce and female. It's like my DVD, and I have a very fierce approach. And I'm also known for helping women be able to deal with tremendous emotion and the fear and the feelings around being attacked. I'm a former psychotherapist, so I bring some of my skills from psychology and psychotherapy into this work.
And how did you get into self-defense? I mean, you said you are a psychotherapist, and
I was a psychotherapist, yes. I got into it for very personal reasons, like many women. I first came to, as I mentioned, I was traveling in Asia and India and Nepal when I was very young, and very cheaply and poorly, and I was attacked a number of times.
Okay.
And
you were traveling alone then?
No, I was traveling with a man, actually. But it was tough, and we traveled. I was molested and grabbed and violated. And I fought. I had a couple of attempted rapes and attacks on trains. So it was tough. It was hard. And it was 30 years ago, men really ruled, even more so than now. So when I came back to the States, I started training in martial arts. And I did that for many years because I had all this tension in my body, and I had to, it was like therapy for me. Then I had a situation in Colorado in the United States where somebody broke into my home in the middle of the night, cut the power, cut the electricity, and came towards my bed with a knife in his hand. And I hadn't learned fighting from lying down positions. Most of the stuff I'd learned in martial arts was from stand up. So I hadn't really, even though I was training in martial arts, I didn't really have any practical skills, and I had no knowledge of how to deal with what I was feeling, So I had that experience, and I repelled him with my voice, which is one of the first lines of defense. I yelled. I'm surprised you didn't hear me in Nepal. Really, it was so loud. And he left, but it was very terrifying. And he called, he would call us and say he had a gun and he was going to get me and all this kind of stuff. This was 1985. And I was beginning to work as a psychotherapist. So I understood, the trauma. I had a lot of trauma, and I understood it, but I could not get rid of it. And then right after that, I learned about a new kind of women's self-defense, which involves scenarios, as you saw us do in the class yesterday, and men who wear specialized armor, padding, and it recreates scenarios, and women can learn to fight back full force, no holding back, and also deal with the verbal attack and all of those pieces. So I came to this as a student. Okay. Because I had all this trauma, and so I learned a very primitive, earlier version of what we do now, and I just fell in love. And because of my background in martial arts and also dancing and psychology, it was like a perfect...
You just blended all.
Yeah, it was a perfect fit for me. So I became very involved in this movement and had the biggest school in the U.S. At the time. I had a very large school in Boston, and now I'm traveling and teaching in different locations.
Okay. Lots of women, when we talk about self-defense, I also teach self-defense.
Yes.
So lots
and
of
you're very
women,
strong.
Thank you so much for saying that. Lots of women, they say like, men, they are powerful in strength. Yeah. So how can we beat them? Is self-defense is about strength or power?
That's a really, really good question. I'm glad you raised that. It's true that men, generally speaking, are far more have more strength. They have greater lung capacity. They're stronger. Their upper body is stronger. So this is why in the training that we teach, we use the element of surprise. There are some strategies that are very important because of our size difference. So the techniques that women have to learn use the element of surprise, and we don't struggle. Like we don't punch and we don't struggle against a man's strength.
Wrestle.
No. So we learn things about timing and openings and opportunity and the element of surprise, and it's using my strengths against a man's weak areas. Okay. So the throat, the face, the eyes, the groin, the knees, and also having really smart strategies. So for example, maybe kind of using some trickery, like, okay, I'm not going to do anything, using deception for us, and techniques about then, so it lowers his attention. He's not expecting us to fight back explosively, so we have to lower their aggression, lower their, lower all that, and then very explosively, bam, sort of, when he thinks, oh, I have her now, she's prey, we turn the tables and use a reversal. So it is important to understand that men are stronger. That's not a joke. And that's also why women have to be more fierce, because techniques are one thing, but the biggest part of self-defense for women is also using their fighting spirit, tapping their fighting spirit, and being able to use all that fear in their fight, because otherwise it tends to paralyze us, and women will shrink. A guy uses intimidation, coercion, domination. So that's all why we teach women to be able to find their power, their inner strength, their emotion, and to use it to fight back, or to use their voice effectively, or to repel somebody just with their body language. It's so much about inner strength. It's so much about confidence. And this takes learning new things, because so many women are conditioned to not, of course, not fight back, but also not even necessarily talk back or even set their limits. I mean, using the voice is a very important piece of finding a woman's power.
Of course. And talking about self-defense, lots of women across the globe are being kidnapped, attacked, assaulted. We hear this kind of news every day. So, does self-defense help to reduce those situations?
Yes. I think statistically, like 1 in 3 women all over the world will have suffered some kind of violence or sexual assault. It pains me how this is still pandemic in the 21st century, and that's, again, part of my passion and fire for doing this. Yes, the learning of self-defense is certainly not the solution to violence against women, because this is so complex. It has to do with patriarchal, mindset and culture and laws and all policies, and it's very hard here. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm so moved by people like you and people I've met, like the Red Brigade, who I was able to help train in India, and it's just so inspiring to me, because there are so many obstacles to overcome. So self-defense alone is not enough. It has to be the changing of the male mindset. It means changes in laws, in social conditioning and perception, women's self-perception, and of course men's perceptions and attitudes towards women. All of that has to change to really stop violence. But this is one very important piece, because at the end of the day, nobody is there to protect you but you. And so it helps. And I think the more women find their power in their voice, in politics, in self-defense, and in all the pieces, important pieces, the more it starts to change the power balance. And if more women across the globe learn that they have power, that they can fight back, they can stand up for themselves, they can speak out, and if they have to, they can use their body as a weapon, I think it really starts to shift the views that are so entrenched and so old, and really could make a very big difference, along with all the other pieces. So it's a part of the solution.
Okay. Melissa, I got a chance to take part in your
session
yesterday. That was really wonderful.
Thank you.
We'll talk about this a bit later. I'd just like to stop interview for a while, as it is time for a commercial break.